So I frequently write down vocabulary in lists when I'm learning a language, but these are not exactly vocabulary lists as you might think of them. They aren't lists for me to learn all the words. Far from it. So what are they? Well, there's one type of list that comes from reading books. I simply highlight phrases and words I find interesting or didn't know before and might find useful. For writing. Okay, some of them I use in my podcast words and phrases section, but they are mainly things to use as prompts and to inspire my writing. If I didn't make a note of them, I'd never remember them, because they are by nature things I didn't know or haven't used before. It would be silly of me not to write them down. But I do create other lists when I'm studying that I actually write with a pencil on paper. Why do I do that? This is something I have only done for new languages. I did it with Italian and Welsh, and I've been doing it with Portuguese. The thing is, with all these languages, there came a point where I was being bombarded with so much vocabulary that it was difficult to pass. Writing it down helps me with this. I mean, when you get a single step on the Duolingo path about professions with 9 lessons in it, you know there's going to be a heck of a lot of new vocabulary. Not that that's likely to be happening anymore. So I use it as a crib sheet to confirm my answers, which I prefer to do rather than clicking on the sentence for tips, because the suggestions there can be misleading. And I also do it because actually writing things down helps me to commit them to memory. The physical act of writing with a pencil and paper has a connection with my brain that is different from simply seeing things on a screen. Sometimes I might go back and skim through these, but I never sit there and try to memorize them, like I had to do when I was a kid at school. Don't want to do that again, thank you very much. This is an actual scientifically studied thing. I'm going to link to an article below in Scientific American that links to various studies on why this works. Writing by hand activates the brain differently, engaging other parts of it that simply typing doesn't. When you think about it, what you're doing is completely different to typing, with the same ultimate result. But making those letters yourself with specific hand movements does create different connections. The study apparently shows that the connection between the physical movement and the sensory aspect of it creates better recognition. It suggests that when typing, you're not really thinking, and I agree. When I'm typing, especially because I'm a touch typist, so not looking at the keys, I'm not thinking in any way about the connection between that and the words. When I write by hand, that's very different. I'm concentrating on the letters I'm drawing on the page. Also, it's a lot slower, so there's more time for a connection to happen. And one thing it says in the Scientific American article about creation really connects with me. When you imagine something and create it physically, it helps to stick in your memory. So writing stories must be doing some really heavy lifting for me. Also, this makes me think that when I'm reading and stopping to highlight a phrase or a word, this is making another one of those connections. Not something as strong as writing, but it's something physical, whereas reading straight through is largely passive. It's just something you do in your head. There's another idea in the article too, that acting out a verb can make you connect to it better. Who fancies trying that out with their foreign language learning? Yeah, there are probably a lot of verbs you don't want to do that with. There is also reference for how important it is for kids to learn to write, which is something most of us don't do a lot of these days. We don't need to. It's kind of scary that one day that might not actually be a thing, that writing by hand will become obsolete, because everything is online or has a keyboard. Side note, anyone else hate the idea of an interconnected home? I don't want my appliances knowing everything about me and berating me for how frequently I use a particular wash cycle on the washing machine, or my fridge quietly noting and reporting back on exactly what I cooked last night with those ingredients to some server in some remote place with some advertiser working out what they want me to buy next. Anyway, perhaps I should be doing more writing by hand. All this to say, if you don't already, perhaps you should try writing down some of the things you're learning in your foreign language by hand, because it's almost certainly going to help you with remembering what you're learning.